In a world where the economy feels a little shaky, India has a powerful secret weapon. And it's probably not what you're thinking. We're talking about its services sector, a force that's both holding things steady right now and launching the country into the future. With global industry slowing down and a lot of uncertainty in the air, the Indian economy is showing some pretty remarkable strength. So it really begs the question, what is its secret weapon? Well, the answer is right there. The services sector. You can think of it as the economy's anchor in these turbulent times, but it's also the launchpad for all the growth that's to come. So let's break down how that's happening. Okay, first up, how exactly is India's services sector acting as a global stabilizer? To really get it, we need to look at the data and see how it's basically defying what's happening everywhere else. This chart really tells a crucial story about what's happened since the pandemic. Yes, services are growing as a share of the economy globally, but look closer. India's sector is expanding its piece of the pie faster than both the world average and the US. This isn't just a temporary bump, folks. This points to a real structural shift. And here, this is where you see the true resilience. As global services growth kind of hit the brakes after the pandemic, and China's growth just fell off a cliff, India's engine barely even sputtered. It kept a growth rate that was incredibly close to its pre-pandemic average. That is a crystal clear sign of stability. So, what's actually powering all this growth? Let's pop the hood on India's services engine and take a look at the key drivers behind this really impressive performance. This number right here kind of says it all. In less than 20 years, India has more than doubled its slice of the entire global services trade pie. I mean, that's not just growth, that's a huge leap in global influence and competitiveness. And this growth is coming from all over. As you can see, India is now the 7th largest services exporter on the planet. But the real power, the core of the engine, is coming from software and consulting. Just think about it. They now make up a massive 65% of all services exports. But here's a really crucial point. Services aren't just this standalone thing anymore. They're getting deeply woven into manufacturing itself through a process people are calling servicification. Think about design, R&D, and software becoming a core part of making physical goods. This is the perfect example. A modern car isn't just about the engine and the steel frame anymore, right? So much of the real value is shifting to the software that runs everything, the navigation, the entertainment, the safety features. That right there is servicification in action. But this whole success story has this fascinating twist, a kind of paradox that we really need to dig into. Can this high-flying services sector truly keep thriving in a bubble, sort of separate from the rest of the country's infrastructure? And that brings us to a really thought-provoking question. We usually assume that a successful export sector just pulls the whole country up with it, right? It forces improvements in things like ports and roads and regulations. But is that actually true when it comes to services? So here's the core of that paradox, laid out side by side. On the left, if you're exporting physical goods, the entire system has to work. You need good roads, efficient ports, reliable power. It forces the state to get better. But services exports, on the right, they're different. A software developer with a laptop and a good internet connection can pretty much bypass broken infrastructure. They can work around the state's weaknesses instead of needing to confront them. This quote just nails the point perfectly. Services firms can succeed inside what might otherwise be a weak state. Because they're so adaptable, they figure out how to work around the problems instead of forcing the whole system to get better for everyone. And that's a really crucial distinction. So, while that paradox is a real challenge for the country's development as a whole, the services sector itself isn't slowing down one bit. So let's look ahead. Beyond the IT sector we all know about, what are the new frontiers for growth? One really exciting area is what's called the orange economy. This is all about creativity and culture. We're talking large-scale concerts, massive live events, and these aren't just for fun. They have a huge economic ripple effect, boosting everything from tourism and hotels to local businesses. And there's just so much untapped potential in niche tourism. I mean, imagine world-class long-distance hiking trails through India's incredible landscapes, or developing modern marinas all along that massive coastline to unlock the blue economy and attract high-end yachting and cruises. These are really innovative ideas with serious economic potential. Okay, next up is a frontier that's literally out of this world, the space sector. It's projected to grow more than 5 times over in the next decade, hitting an estimated $44 billion. And remember, this isn't just about rockets, it's about a whole booming services industry, from satellite launches to data analysis. And if you want to see where the new tech boom is really focused, look at this. With generative AI, the vast majority of the funding, 63%, isn't going into abstract research. It's going into building real-world applications. The top priority is deploying intelligent services that solve actual problems for people and businesses. So we've seen the stability, the drivers, that interesting paradox, and the new frontiers. So what does the path ahead look like? What are the key priorities to make sure this incredible growth engine just keeps on running smoothly? Well, it seems to come down to 4 clear priorities. First, you've got to reskill the workforce to get them ready for AI, cloud, and cybersecurity. Second, you have to create national policies to actually unlock those niche areas we saw, like marinas and live events. Third, you need to foster a genuine innovation ecosystem that connects industry and research. And finally, use public-private partnerships to speed up commercialization in those really high-tech areas like space. All of this leaves us with one final and, I think, crucial question to chew on. As these intelligent services become woven into the very fabric of our economy, from our cars to our entertainment, what do you think will be the single most important skill for the workforce of tomorrow?